Hi everybody, it's Louisa here, and I have another project for you. I have finally altered a gumball machine. I had picked up this gumball machine at Tuesday morning, and it was actually after Christmas, and it was an M&M's slash Iron Man 3 gumball machine. So it was plastic, or it is plastic, and it was, all of this was yellow, and then the part here was a dark, like a royal blue, and inside royal blue, and same thing on the inside there. So, like I said, it was an M&M's thing. It had some M&M's inside. I took it out, and it did have like this image right here, right in the front. It was kind of like a sticker, but it was stuck on harder than a sticker, so it took a while for me to get it off. It still left a little bit of stuff on here, and I did use some Goo Gone to get rid of it, but it came out pretty good. It wasn't that bad, and as you can see, it's a pretty nice size. Let me see how tall it is. I know a lot of people have picked up in the past these little gumball machines from the Dollar Tree, but my Dollar Tree never had them. Never seen them before. So when I saw this, and I wish I picked up two, but I didn't think when I got it. So it's about 8.5 maybe inches tall, and the widest point looks like 4.5. So it's a nice little size, and I started this a couple days ago because I needed to cover up that ugly yellow and the blue, so I had gessoed it and gave it like, I don't know, maybe 5 coats of white gesso to cover up the yellow and the blue. And even though on the inside you don't see the mechanism, I still went and gessoed that too, because I wasn't sure how I was going to be doing the inside. So I just wanted to be sure that it was already gessoed, just in case it would show later on. On the bottom you still see that it's just gesso. I'm not sure if I'm just going to leave it like this or maybe put like a felt. I'm thinking a felt so that the gesso doesn't like stick to your table or anything. You cannot open this anymore. It's I glued it a little bit shut so that you couldn't open it, and this doesn't work anymore because I painted it shut, but it's not meant to be really used. It's more of a decorative piece. Now, you've already seen the pictures. It's going to be hard to show this piece. It's kind of large, and I also want to show you the inside too. What I was trying to do, let me zoom in. I really just wanted a vintage gumball machine, a vintage looking, and I did want it to look like metal. So after the gesso had dried, after a couple of days, of putting the coat on and then doing the gesso, I decided what colors I wanted, what kind of metallic colors. And instead of using my Rub and Buff or the Inca Gold, I decided to just break out my paints and my paintbrushes, and I used 3 different colors. I used 2 for the gumball machine itself, and then a 3rd color for a column that's in here, and I think you've seen it in the pictures. So what I used, I wanted vintage, so I just used gold and what color is this? Copper, 1 penny. So for this part, and these are metallic paints from different companies, this was the gold that I used, and on the paint itself I did have to use like another 5 coats of paint too, just so it would be nice and thick and you wouldn't see the white of the gesso. And I actually like how in certain places you can see the thickness of the paint. It just looks like an old metal piece that's been painted over several times. The gold one, I started with this, which I think I'm out of. I've had this for a while, but I love it because it is like a 14 karat gold paint, acrylic paint from Delta Ceramic Coat. So that was this part, and then also the top. And the top, I also painted the inside. So in case if anybody actually goes and peeks under there, it's gold in there too, if you could see that. But I only gave that a couple of coats. You really couldn't tell too much. So I used that for those 2 parts. For the vase, isn't that shiny? I use this one, which is Dazzling Metallics from Deco Art, and this one is the Worn Penny. And I love this color. So I pretty much just painted that area with that color. Once it was all painted, I did go over it with my Hematites Inca Gold. And you'll see there's dark spots. It kind of looks like lead pencil color. I just wanted to give it even more age, and I just did that. Just rubbed it on all the surfaces here, the corners and edges, on the whole thing pretty much, even up here. So you can see I just kind of highlighted areas, and as well as this has some kind of like a little design, so it kind of highlighted that around there. So it looks like that. And I did paint inside the hole too, where the gumballs would come out of. So once all of that was painted, let me put these away. I decided to start working on the inside, and so you can see it's filled with some goodies. And what I did, because the mechanism inside has like a thing that turns like a disc with holes in it, I took a put this right here. I just took a white cardstock. Hold on. I took white cardstock and I took this top piece, traced it, and then cut it a little bigger than that, and used glossy accents because I wanted a wet glue. I couldn't just put hot glue and try to get it in there and not hit the side. So I just used glossy accents on my cardstock, pushed it in through the hole, and then just kind of pressed it down everywhere. And I took like a thick, I took this actually, and kind of pushed it in until it dried. It doesn't take too long for the glossy accents to dry. Let me get that back in there. So that gave me kind of a flat surface. Not hard, but it still gave me a nice little surface to start layering my things. And before I went and added my things, I added this, and it's going to be hard to see, but you only see like edges of it here. That's actually a doily from the Paper Bag Lady, and it fit perfect in there with just enough peeking out through the sides. So it gave it kind of like a little nest of a doily, and it was one of the really thick fuzzy ones. I don't have it out because I only have one left. Oh, here it is. I do have it out. It's one of the thick ones that she had way back when. So it just sit in there, and then these parts were sticking out. So that even gave me more surface to work on. And it kind of softened it, softened the look too. The next thing that I had to do, it was so hard getting these things in here. This does not open up at all. It doesn't come off. The only way to get in there is through the top. My hand does not fit in there, so I had to take out a tool. It's like these long tweezers that you actually have to let it go to pinch, and then pinch to let go. I don't know if you understand that. I put it away, of course. I'm sick. I have to put everything away. But I use these tweezers to get some stuff in there. But I did start with the column there, and that was actually white. It's a plastic column. It's something I picked up a while ago. I used to sell this in my shop. I painted that with that other gold that I had out in this one here. Dazzling Metallics again from Deco Art, and this one is Emperor's Gold. But then on top of that, I went and did some more of the Hematite Inca gold rub. And I don't know if you'll see in there. It just, instead of a bright and shiny brand new piece of gold column, it just looks a little more worn and tarnished. So that's how that looks. Let me zoom in just one more time. Okay. And I did put it this way, towards the back and to the side, because I knew I still wanted to throw in a little frame, the little phone that is there. So I kind of put it at one side. It's not all the way on, up to here. It's just sitting there, and everything is just hot glued in. I added in there some, you can't really see, but there is a bead in there. There's a couple of buttons. There's a bead right there. There's some like baubles and flowers. And the colors of flowers that I wanted to do was just peach, like a deeper peach and cream, because I had these flowers that I rarely use, and I wanted to, you know, I'm starting to use my stash and not just like one thing. I like not just all shabby chic pink and white. So I used this. It's the whole color scheme. This darker peach and the cream. So I use these flowers and, you know, just some cream ones from my stash and some Wild Orchid Craft cream flowers there. So that's what I used. And I just tucked in a few inside. And you'll see the back of the frame. That's a piece of paper from my Love Struck kit. I just wanted to cover the back. That frame, let me go back to the front. The image in the front, that pretty lady there, is also from another one of my kits, the ATC set. So I just used one of my images that I already had cut out. And then I took this frame here that I picked up at AC Moore. There's 2 in a pack. So this is the way it looked like before. I painted it with that gold that I use on top of here. And then I also did some of the hematite Inca gold on it, so it would look more vintage. I tied or added a chain to it and had the chain wrap around the phone handle, which is a Michael's phone, and it goes up into the column. You don't see it, but there's a hole in the column. It kind of starts up there. I don't know if you can see back there on the top of the column. So it goes there, comes down, wraps around the phone, and then goes up and is attached to the frame. There's a little flower on the frame, some more flowers, and then there's a glass chest piece. That's the horse. Another bead, more buttons. And that's pretty much it on the inside. I couldn't get my hand in there, like I said, and as I kept filling, it kept getting harder and harder to add more, so I just had to stop at a certain point. Once I was done, I added my top piece, which will come off if you try, but it's hard. I mean, there's no need to get in there, because once I put it on, I couldn't get it back off, but it does turn. On the very top is this gorgeous piece here that was like a pin, a brooch, and this is from Natasha's Scrapbook Corner. So I had just recently picked it up, and I knew I was going to use one of the brooches that I bought on this project, and this was like the perfect color for it. So that, what I did was, this actually had a fake, like a screw. You know how a normal gumball machine has a screw that goes straight through the middle? Well, I just had like a phony one, and what I did was chop it so it would be more flat, and then with the brooch I removed the back. You simply just take it off with some pliers and then hot glue this straight down. It made, by taking out or chopping off that screw head, it was flatter so that I could stick this on here. Okay, and then going back down, I'm trying to show you in the actual way that I did it. I actually started from the inside and worked my way out. So once I did that, I added this little metal frame right where you would put the coin. It fit perfect. And I didn't do anything to it other than the gesso. And then I started adding this trim here all the way around, just to cover that area, because when I painted, the area between this and this didn't look so pretty, so I just covered it up with some black trim, and it had pearls on it already. And then what I did was make my little flower arrangement with all those gorgeous flowers. Nice big ones here. And then I topped it off with this gorgeous Prima butterfly that I had just gotten not that long ago. It was from the Prima warehouse, you know, the box, the Prima box. So they look like this, and I actually used one. I didn't want to, but it just needed that. So then on the front again, I decided to add this little Cupid here that's laying down. He actually was in gold, and that is also from Natasha's Scrapbook Corner. It was a perfect little spot there because it's like a little lip or a, you know, just a piece sticking out, and he just sat on there perfectly. And inside where the gumballs would come out, I tucked in, there's a pearl back there, a large one, and a couple of buttons, but also a pearl beaded necklace or trim that I had. I don't remember where it came from, but what I did is made it come out and then swag around a couple times to the other side. And on this one swag, I added my last little hats that I had. I used a couple of these, and I've actually given some away. So next time I go to where I found these, and if I see it, I'm going to buy another pack because these things are just too cute. You're going to see a pink one soon, hopefully, in another project. But I love those little hats. I forgot to mention that I did paint the little handle that you would turn the same color as this. And everything else, I think I told you everything else except for, again, my gesso. I just had to do it. I didn't even think twice. I just said, screw it, I'm going to gesso it. And I did just a little bit on the clear parts and here too. And it just brought everything together. So let me zoom out one more time so you can see the whole thing. I'm so excited about this. It's something that's been on my list for a super long time, and I've been hanging on to it for a little bit, you know, since Christmas. And I might get another one if I ever do find it and do maybe a different style. My first idea was to do a fairy inside because they're selling at Joann's a little collection to do your own little fairy scenes. I don't know if anyone's seen it yet, but I'm just waiting for them to do a sale on that stuff. They got fairies, all the little like patio furniture, you know, the right size for the fairies and stuff, so you can do your own little fairy scene. So I was gonna go and get one and throw it in here, but then I decided to go with the vintage look like this. Totally love it. So all I gotta do is finish that bottom. Maybe put a piece of felt or paper. I can even just stick paper. That would be fine, I think, because the stuff is kind of getting scratched just from being on the table. So yeah, that is it. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye now.